Views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of alltalkradio.net.
And you are listening to and watching Soul Chat in Las Vegas, Nevada. And my co-host today is my friend Kara Keating.
Hello.
Hello. Co-director of Soul Sanctuary here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'll let her talk about that a little bit later. We are going to talk today about one of my favorite books called The Artist's Way. I have reached for this book, I think, with every crisis in my life. Probably not with every crisis, but definitely through the last divorce, and definitely after the last relationship breakup, and definitely after the house foreclosure. And it's a wonderful tool. It really is a wonderful tool, and we'll talk more about that after a bit. So I would like to say that in part we are sponsored by Spirit Us Reiki Center at 3300 East Sunrise Avenue, Suite 102 in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we thank them for that. I also always love support, so if anybody else out there would like to support us, absolutely, you can call, and I'm going to give my phone number at the end of the hour. And with that, we're going to start with the favorite thing. I've had more people say, I really like that thing that you do. I don't know if they're learning anything from it, but
they like it.
They like it. So what the heck? I'm still learning. I don't think a day goes by anymore that I'm not going, oh my gosh, that's still in operation. That's still controlling my life. I need to back off or something. Yeah. But this is about, what did I learn about myself this week? This week for me, as everybody has followed the last couple weeks, if you haven't, go back and watch it, because I stopped eating sugar, and I'm like on day 15 now.
Yeah, I've been a little afraid.
Yeah, you should be. There's been a couple of days nobody's heard from me.
I noticed.
Yeah, kind of put my head down. Last week the first week it started out, I was just noticing, how I was kind of numbing myself out. And last week what I noticed is it was a surprise to me, because I generally care about everybody I'm involved with in a good way. And last week I noticed how there's a little extra edge to it now, that I'm actually care more. And it's because I don't have this blanket of sugar numbing me out. This week, what's interesting is there have been some conversations I've had with people that have shown me who they are right now on their path. And I've been in a situation where I've tolerated some things in order to keep them in my life. And that doesn't mean they're going out of my life. It's just that I'm going to start getting to a place where that's just not lining up with me.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to settle to have certain relationships in my life. It doesn't mean I'm going to chop them off at the roots. That's not it at all. But there's things that I've tolerated that are not okay with me.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to take the axe of truth and chop them off at the knees, although there are moments where I find myself, like I told you earlier, somebody made a very innocent comment to me today, and it was like, no, I can't do that. And I had to sit on my hands. So I didn't type something into Facebook or whatever. But also because of that, I'm noticing my own reactions to things a lot more. I mean, I was noticing a lot anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing when I get irritated, that's not their problem. As in this case we were just talking about. Yeah. That's my problem. What is it I'm reacting to? What is it that's going on in me that I'm not handling this well? Is there an old wound there I need to heal, or am I tired, or do I need, am I wishing for sugar again? Am I. So it's been interesting because there are some relationships in my life that I've probably got people out there going, uh-oh.
Is it me? Is it me?
Is it
I don't
me?
know. I'm sitting here next to you, so I'm really hoping it's not me.
No, I don't think so. In fact, you're somebody I called the other night when I had one that was really that I got a message at about 11 o'clock at night, and I was accused of something that wasn't true. You know, no matter how I looked at it, no matter where I stood, and change perspective, because that's how healing starts, when you can change perspective and look at it, as we talked when you were on last time. And I ended up calling Kara, the night owl.
Yes.
There's a whole group of us out there. We know who we are, right? And we had a good talk about it, and I noticed, and even though initially I was irritated, what I got under it was that I was sad. I was sad because this was a friendship that at one point in time I was very deeply involved in, and because of the path this person is on and where they're going, it's not one that I choose to travel on. So, well, am I glad to see him when I see him? Yeah, but there's probably won't be too many in-depth conversations because I'm growing in a different direction and I'm doing different things.
Yeah,
so amazing when you stop eating sugar.
Remind me not to do that.
Yeah. Two of us at the same time. One of us has to be mellow, you know.
Exactly. One of us has to be sane.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if anyone. Yeah. So, so what about you?
So I learned this week, which is not related to sugar, but similar to what you've learned. There's a great meme out there that I really love.
Explain what a meme is, because not everybody knows it.
Okay, a meme is like just those really pretty pictures you see on like Facebook or on the internet that people spread around. And so there's one out there that says, you know, I want to use this body up. I'm going to skid into the end of my life saying, holy cow, that was quite the ride.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and it's one of my favorites. I've shared it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I got to thinking about it, and I have to say I've kind of had one of those years where I feel like, holy cow, things are really going along, and I'm just like spending my life the way I want to be spending it. But as I've been plugging along in that, the meme doesn't tell you, and you know, maybe the spiritual path doesn't necessarily tell you that in order to be like completely giving your gifts from the divine away, you have to be filling in a tank from the divine.
Yes.
And if you're just giving and giving and giving and giving, you just deplete yourself so that you're skidding in early in your life instead at the end of your life. And,
right.
And so it really brought me back to a conversation about where my boundaries are with people, but also what are the things that I need to put in place that connect me to myself? What are the pieces that connect me to spirit and fill that tank up? And so some of that has been saying no when people have invited me out, because I honestly, there's a piece of me that's introverted, and I fill up in the quiet.
Yeah, I do too. A lot of people are very surprised because I'm an entertainer.
Yeah.
I can stand with a mic in my hand, as people have heard me say, and sing in front of 5,000 people. What they don't know is when I'm singing is I can disappear within myself. I'm caught up in I'm in the moment, and I'm caught up in the fact that they get to enjoy it while I'm doing that is great. But I also can use it to hide.
Yeah.
Because the crowd goes away. They're not there. They don't know it, you know. But not so much anymore. Anymore, when I get in front of a crowd, my intention is to really connect with people in a good way, you know, but not hiding. So I get what you're talking about. Yeah.
And so so there's a piece of it. So when I'm at my spiritual center, I make sure or do my best to be very present with people and to be there with them. But when I go home, there's a piece of me that just needs to contract. And I need to shut myself in my room and do the things like, for example, writing or praying or listening to music or going for a walk.
And it's whatever feeds your spirit.
Feeds my spirit,
right,
that connects me to that divine source. Otherwise, I'm just giving and giving, and there's nothing left to give. And I had an instance this last week where, I had to put some boundaries around a relationship, and this person was terribly angry.
And they get to be there.
Yep.
They get this, and that's what I was. So you're right. We're kind of on the same thing. It's like, I'm going to let you be there, and hopefully, you will learn about yourself from that. And if I'm going to trust spirit with my path, which is the way I talk when I talk shamanically, then I have to trust other people's paths to their work with their own spirit, whether they're aware of it or not. Because you and I both believe that spirit's always there, whether we're conscious of it or not.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And relationships are interesting. Joseph Whitecloud, you didn't get to go that night.
I know.
White Cloud. No, White Wolf.
White Wolf.
White Wolf. I don't want to call him White Cloud. He was here and he was talking about this very thing. He said it a little differently, but what really struck me was he said, if somebody comes up and let's say they ask you to dinner and you end up accepting because you feel you should, but you really don't want to. It doesn't matter whether you go or you don't go as far as spirit is concerned, because either way you're going to learn.
Yeah.
But if somebody comes up and you just know that's not a good night for me, I need to do this differently. I had one this week where somebody wanted me to come over for dinner, and I really wanted to, and I got home and everything had changed in my household, which is kind of chaotic right now. And I had to call her up and say, I really need to change this to tomorrow night, because I am just not feeling at the top of my game, and I need to be with my family, and I need to have some peace and quiet. Yeah. And sometimes people, then the tendency is because they asked and because you agreed, you got to do this. And then it becomes a to-do list instead of really being able to be there and enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
And enjoy the conversation. And so the next night it was great.
Yeah.
Then it was fine.
Yeah, I know. And one of the things I came away with from that experience with that particular friend was, if I don't have it to give, I don't have it to give.
Yeah.
I just don't have it to give.
And if you don't understand it, then I'm going to let you be with that, because this is called taking care of yourself first.
Yes. And if I don't do that, then I can't take care of anything else. I can't help anything else. I can't be present for other people. I can't, because I'm just exhausted and tired and grumpy and all of those things that don't make me pleasant to be around. So
not you.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah. So for all my friends and people out there that are going, oh my gosh, I hope she's not cutting me off at the knees. No, not at all. No. Just know I'm going to be more in a place like you are, where I'm going to say, that's nice, but I really can't do that tonight.
No.
Nope. And hopefully some part of them will understand, and if they don't, then they'll have to deal with it, because this is about, and it's not about being selfish. I think it would be good to have let's talk about that a minute, because people say, well, isn't that awfully selfish? What's the difference between selfish and taking care of yourself?
What's interesting is that when you take really good care of yourself, you're actually more selfless.
Yes.
Because you can give from spirit within you to other people. You're connected to that spirit, so it like channels through you, and yourself can step aside to do the work.
Right.
But when you're exhausted, tired, lonely, hungry,
all of those things,
angry, resentful because you said yes to something that you didn't want to do,
and you're not resentful to them, you're resentful to yourself because
much.
you didn't listen to what was really needed.
Yeah, and then you kick yourself for that.
And then you kick yourself, and then you say, I'm a bad person, and now we're going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, and I actually think that is, far more selfish, because then you're so completely drained, you have nothing left to give.
Right.
And so, to take care, to do the things, it doesn't mean you go away and you never engage with anybody and you just please yourself. It's that you take time intentionally every day to do the things that nurture you.
Right. And listen to what your body and your spirit wants, because the stress factor, I don't care who you are, if you have an illness you're dealing with, if there's something that you're dealing with on a physical level, stress is only going to make it worse.
Absolutely.
It's very hard. And you talk to anybody that has gone through the what is it, the Caring Center in town? Isn't that the cancer place?
Yeah,
the Caring place. It's like Hedda Steffens, who was here. I always been calling her Stevens, and she said Hedda Steffens the other day.
Oh, I've been calling her Stevens too.
Okay, so she never said anything except she said it on the show when she introduced herself, and I thought, oh, I didn't know she wanted it said like that.
Sorry, Hedda.
Sorry, Hedda. She'll listen to this, and she's going to be laughing when she does, right? But she was talking about one of the things she did is she went in and she taught people how to knit at the Caring place. And it's knitting. I don't know. Do you knit?
Yeah.
Do you do it gets real meditative if you get into a rhythm, and the stress. And those are the kinds of things can alleviate stress. But if you're sitting there going, I got to get this done, it's not going to work. It's that way with everything we do in our life too.
Yeah. Well, and for the years, because I was sick for 5 years, undiagnosed with a thyroid problem. And for those years that I was in that fatigue, There was nothing like being really, really tired to teach me how to do self-care and to
Yes.
teach me what was really important in my life. And lots of relationships went away. Lots of things that didn't need to be done went away. And I got to like just the core pieces of what it took to fill up my spirit, because that's all I had the energy for.
Yeah, isn't that interesting how that happens, George? We had a conversation with George before we came on, and I think it's in the air because the new moon. We're in the new moon. We're in the and we should start seeing that little toenail start coming up. This is about. It's in Cancer. It was new moon in Cancer, which is very much about the home. Inner home, the home around you, if you believe like I do that your home reflects who you are.
Yeah.
Right now, when I look at my house, because I've got some very, I love my family, but they're staying with me temporarily, and there's boxes where I didn't used to see them, and I'm looking at this, and I walk out in the kitchen, and the kitchen isn't the way I left it when I went to bed, what I mean, but I look at that, and it's a little chaotic, and I get to step back and say, whoa, but I get to have them here, and when they're not here, I'm going to wish they were here again, probably in moments.
Yes.
But it's knowing how to travel through that. And so this new moon is about what is it that you are holding on to that's not making space for something new to create in your life.
Yeah.
The old thing, my old thing is of my house was just the way it was when I came back in. I enjoy that. But I'm also can enjoy what's happening right now in the moment.
Be present.
Be present. Yeah. So good talk.
Good. I like that.
Yeah. So let's go on to this. I'm gonna hold this up. We are going to talk about The Artist's Way, and it's written by Julia Cameron, and it's been out since when?
1992.
Yeah.
I looked at the front today.
I saw it on Amazon, and they said, "Is that good, George?" Yeah. I looked on was looking on Amazon because I guess there's a new edition out that she's added things to now.
Oh, excellent.
It's usually what happens when a book is, let's see, was that 20 years old?
Yeah, 20 plus.
Yeah, 20 plus years old. So she's added some things that she's learned since then. Okay.
Good.
So I was looking at that, and they said, well, a decade ago, and I went, no, it's longer than that, and it was
1992 according to this one.
Yeah. How did you come to it?
Years ago, I always knew I wanted to write. Couldn't figure out how to start and get going and become a writer and to get my writing flowing. And so over various times in my life, I've worked through different parts of The Artist's Way. I've done the whole series by myself. I've more than one time. I have referenced her book numerous times over the years.
I'm always referencing her book. I never went through the series like you did. There's another book that she has. What is it called? Walking the Artist's Way, or what is it?
The Vein of Gold.
The Vein of Gold.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
And she's got the other book as well. And
what's that one called?
I don't. Well, no. Those are the only two. I'm familiar with anyway.
And there's a journal that you can buy to go with this as well. So, go on Amazon. Look for The Artist's Way, Julia Cameron. There's a workbook that goes with it, which is helpful. Yeah. I've got pieces of paper all over the place, but I mean, it's me. But it's very helpful. So tell us what the premise is, because you don't have to be an artist like everybody thinks. I happen to be a songwriter. I can paint and draw, and everybody thinks, well, and they say, well, I would love to be able to sing, or I would love to be able to write songs, or I would love to paint, but I can't do that. So they think they're not being creative.
Yeah, but the premise of this book basically is that our creativity comes from spirit. It comes from the divine source, and that it's like it's our birthright to be able to express that creativity. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a career. It doesn't necessarily have to be something you're good at. There's been lots of creative outlets I've done that I'm not very good at. But
I tried to play the violin once in college, and they gave me a D. He said, go back to singing. I went, oh, all right, okay. But I had fun trying.
I think people have some patchwork quilts of mine that probably didn't hold up to a couple washes.
Okay, okay. All righty then.
But the book's premise and it's basically that spirit is the source of our creativity, and that we can connect into that as part of not only a spiritual practice, but a deepening of ourselves and an expression out to the world.
Right. And I think it's my belief, and it's what I've found when I am songwriting, like I was in the studio this morning and we were working on a song I'd started to record. Well, actually, I recorded it a while, but we kind of spiffed it up and I'm getting ready to release it again. Colors of the Wind.
Oh, nice.
and had to make sure all the words were in the right place so Disney folks don't come after me. You know, you can't change too much wording. But I found that thing happening again where time just goes away.
Yeah.
It goes away. There is no time. And I think it's now, in the old days, I used to think, oh, I'm just lost. But I think what's really true is I've always said there's this river running above my head, and every once in a while I get to reach up and grab something and bring it down.
I love that analogy.
Yeah, I do. I've always thought that. And the thing that you love to do, I don't care what it is. Maybe some people are great at baking. Invite me over if you do, because I love to eat. Well, no sugar anymore, but somebody wants to cook, I'll show up and help you.
Okay.
You know, I'll sample it.
Can I come too?
Yeah, I liked it at your house on the 4th.
I know.
So, but it's when time goes away, when time doesn't matter. I think you're in spirit.
Yes.
I believe that inspiration, I think, is in spirit.
I would agree with that. I'd
You know?
absolutely agree with that. And then there's also a piece of, I guess, the spiritual path that, we think we all have to be like meditative all the time.
That doesn't work for me.
Or,
Yeah, we've had that conversation.
Yeah, we've had that conversation before. But we think we have to be this, like, really spiritual person. But the way I connect to my soul the most deeply is often just being relaxed and happy. And being relaxed and happy for me is doing those little things that are creative and interesting and fun, that I lose my sense of time, my sense of worry, and I just get engaged in something that I like.
I just spoke with my oldest daughter, who went on a vacation to Seattle, and she was with some friends, and she woke up one morning, and for whatever reason, she just did not want to engage with anybody. Maybe she had relaxed to the point where she could finally let down. But I guess the hot thing on Amazon right now, there's some kind of coloring book. Have you heard about that?
I haven't heard about it.
I told her, I said, okay, there's a birthday present coming in September. I got a birthday in September, so that's my birthday present. Buy me that book.
Okay.
So she said, okay, but what she did is she took this book, and she says, I couldn't believe it. I went to this book, and I started coloring it, and she said it was 4 hours. And when she came out of it, she was better, but she needed to lose herself. If you want to term it like that, there's got to be a better way to say it. But she needed to go into that spot where time could go away, where you could just be.
She had to connect within.
Yeah.
She had to connect within.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, at least for me, the experience is going internal. Even though I might be doing something external, that I'm having an inner life and an inner connection with spirit at the same time.
Yeah, we'll get into the main practice of the book, but what I thought is that there's a story that sticks with me. People have come to her, not necessarily artists, and I remember the story of a businessman who came to her, and he just didn't know what his next step was. Do you remember that story?
I don't remember the story off the top of my head.
Because she's got a lot of them, where he came to her, and the practice in the book is that you get up and you write 3 pages a day for
ever
as long as it takes.
Yeah.
And so he came to her, and she had him do that, and somehow in the process, and she really couldn't explain it either, other than she knew it worked, at least the piece that I was reading, maybe it was the early part when she first wrote the book, that all of a sudden in about a month he had a breakthrough, and he created something new in his business.
Yes.
That he didn't, and he didn't know what his next step was. But this, I'll let you explain the pages part, but this writing every day, just making that special time.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's a good way to segue into it. So,
okay, so
talk about it. I'll shut up now.
Yeah, okay. Yay! No, I'm just kidding.
George just looked at me and shook his head, He just doesn't know how on edge I am. Look out.
I'm a little afraid on the show today, people.
Yeah, okay, it's fine. I'm sitting on my hands.
So the morning pages on The Artist Way is basically you get up every morning and you sit down. It doesn't have to be a pretty notebook because nobody's ever going to see it and you're never going to look at it ever again. But you sit down and you write 3 pages of stream of consciousness, whatever's on your mind for the day. 3 pages. It doesn't matter that it's legible. Nobody's ever going to read it, but the practice of doing the morning pages gives an opportunity for our internal censor, that piece of us that is a naysayer. It says we're not talented enough, not good enough, not creative enough, that we can't possibly have the things that we want. Some people call it ego mind. But it gives an opportunity for it to have a voice, but it also gives an opportunity for it to have its voice and go away. It is a way to purge the sensor in something. So you never want anybody to read your morning pages. You never want to share them. They're not a sample of your writing or your creativity or talent. It's a purging process to get over that inner critic long enough so that you can do other things for the rest of your day, so you can find that creative peace. So it's a way of getting a piece of disbelief out of your way.
And it's a good thing nobody wanted to look at mine, because I don't think it would have made any sense at all, because it is stream of consciousness. So one of the old tricks from years ago, before the artist's way, was to sit down and just write a color. Orange, 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 until all of a sudden some other thought comes up, and then you write that down. And then if you get another thought, and it's the way with this, as I remember, you're writing in the middle of a sentence and you have another thought, and you put a dash, and then you put that down.
You do.
That's stream of consciousness. You don't have to put periods on the end of sentences. It doesn't have to be spelled right. There is a twist on this, and I don't know if she does it. I can't remember. You'll have to help me. Is you can write with your other hand.
Yeah, I've heard that one too.
And you'll be amazed what you can do. Because you'll think, well, that isn't going to work. They're never going to, but you'll get something. Mm-hmm. Something will happen, and it shifts your brain physically.
Yes.
Because you're not thinking from the side you normally think from.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've heard about doing the left-handed thing, but just that sloppy, gotta go
right
through it. Because what I really like about the morning pages is that I handwrite them.
Yes, I do too.
Because there's an energy to that you just don't get on the computer. Although I can type really hard on my computer.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Me too. I can go faster than I can. It doesn't keep up with my brain sometimes, but
yeah.
But it is. But there's something about the organicness of. I like a pencil.
Yes.
I like a pencil. There's something about the feel, something about the sound, there's something.
It's very tactile. And then if you're really upset about something, there's nothing like writing really hard on a piece of paper that expresses that and has that energy into it.
Yeah, it's the connect through, isn't it? Isn't it?
It's a purging piece.
It actually gets you out of your head, got me out of my head, and got it out and down.
Absolutely.
And sometimes when I'm working with clients, that's one of the things that I will have them do. Not 3 pages a day, but maybe every day they need to write down something they're grateful for. Or today I need to write down something I hated and something I loved. Mm-hmm. Just one sentence. It doesn't have, even just the smallest little piece will help.
Absolutely.
For some people to shift.
Well, and then we'll take that just briefly back to that relationship piece, because one of the things I often do is I'll sit down and write in a relationship everything I wish I could say. Yes. On a piece of paper and purge that energy of that piece out, and then I'll take out a fresh sheet of paper and say, okay, in the space of what just went away in that, here's what I would like to have in my life, and then I burn those and send those to spirit. So,
and of course I'm having this midnight talk with her the other night when somebody I got some information that just really was unfair, and I tell people to do that all the time. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't thought of it for doing it for me, and I do it for me. That's what was crazy until you said, well, you could take a piece of paper and go, oh, I teach that. Why didn't I think of that?
But it's that same process that the artist way does. It's getting it out of the mind, someplace else, the energy of it, someplace else. Right. So that it can be transmuted. It can be
and I liked
changed.
Your piece of, and I'd forgotten that too, I liked your piece of once you've gotten all the crap out, now let's fill that space up that came out of with something a little different.
Yeah, exactly. Let's ask for what
and
we
both
want.
We both do the same thing, and shamanically what I like to do is burn it, wrap it in sage, burn it, go out there with a rattle. The neighbor thinks I'm nuts, but he thinks I'm nuts anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And on the smoke, I'm sending the energy of everything I put down.
See?
It's the spiritual
That's
mailbox.
What I do. I burn it and send it back as energy for spirit
and ask
to take.
Spirit to send it when it's time, not me. Yep. It's not up to. So I'm not sending it back to the person I might be ranting about or whatever.
No. I'm handing it over to spirit. Yeah. I'm giving all of that energy over to spirit to do with it what it wants.
Well, and I specifically ask it to do a healing.
Beautiful.
So it's anything like that, then it's going to bounce back to me somehow. So this is so tell me about some of the stuff you've done with it.
With
breakthroughs.
With the Artist Way, I think the biggest breakthrough through the Artist Way is that it connects you to your inner voice.
Yes. I would agree.
Because it's not only the morning pages are not only like the stream of consciousness, but it's also where you see yourself for the first time, and it's also where you acknowledge kind of who you are, both in the struggle but also in the beauty of who you are. So just the act of sitting down and writing every day, and I'm a writer, so but that act of writing every day got me in the habit of sitting down to listen and to write every day, to pay attention to what was coming through in my mind and in my heart.
Right.
And then from those pieces. So the breakthroughs for me are that. I think I want to talk really briefly, too, about the artist dates.
Oh, yeah, that's the other piece of it,
That's the other piece about the artist's way. So Julia Cameron basically talks about as our artist is this beautiful, vulnerable, gorgeous child. And we need to nurture and love and have some fun with our artist. And so every week we're supposed to go on artist dates, and it doesn't matter what the dates, what exactly you do. The point is to take your little inner artist out and have a little bit of fun. So it would be like taking your inner child out and having a little play date.
And you're doing this with yourself.
Yes, you're doing
You
it
can do
by
it with other people, but
She suggests you that you don't do it with other people.
That's right.
Yeah, but
That's right.
But that you actually take your artist out on a date. So like I actually did it with somebody the other day. I have my daughter. She's doing the artist way with me, and so we went to Michael's and dawdled around Michael's and went, look at this and look at that, and oh, isn't this cute?
And the intention, it's the intention to be on a date. It's not, let's just go to Michael's.
No, it's to have fun. And so we went and just, with no time constraint said, oh, look at this. Oh, wouldn't you like to do this project? And
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you buy anything?
Yes, and I
How
actually...
can you go into Michael's without buying anything?
I bought stuff.
Guys can do it. Guys can do it easy. They go, let's go to Michael's. I go, oh, I don't think I'm going to go to Michael's. Right, George? He's sitting over here nodding. Danielle says, let's go to Michael's.
But the artist dates, but the artist dates really are a chance to take your artist out and do things. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can take your artist on a hike. You can go sit in a park. You can watch the stars. Your artist can play with Play-Doh. I mean, your artist can draw something randomly. I mean, you can bake, whatever. There's I have a favorite author and that I never get to sit down and read all the way through. So one of my artist dates is to sit down and read this favorite author all the way through one day.
You read the whole book? It wasn't War and Peace or something. Right?
No.
No.
But yeah, so it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be crowded. It doesn't have to be long. It's just an opportunity to play with that innocent, beautiful piece that's inside of us.
Because I think as we grow up, I mean, when you watch a 3 or a 4-year-old, they do exactly what they want to do when they want to do it. If you think you can herd them. No. No, it doesn't work that way. Moms spend most of their time kind of figuring out where do they go, what are they doing now, and it's someplace around 6, 7 years old. I think psychologically they say that's when the reason kicks in, right? But up until that point, you're just kind of following these little critters around, and it's about going back to that place.
Yes.
To have, even if you just say, I have the morning till noon I'm going to go on an artist date. I should do that again because I haven't done it for a while. And I won't be playing with Play-Doh because I kind of go squish, 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 squish and make some balls and shove it together and go, I'm done. But if that's what I wanted to do, I could.
Well, and part of the artist date is not just to have that fun with your inner self, but it's also to... Because like we were talking about earlier, you have to have a well in which to draw from.
That's right.
And so your artist needs images. It needs experiences. It needs tactile experiences. It needs, the sense of beauty in which it can draw to paint, or it can draw on to sing, or it can draw on.
Right. And we're talking about things that are usually come pretty easily to women. Okay. So if you got a guy. Let's talk about a guy. What would they do? So, George, chime in on this. What would be fun for you to do that you don't let yourself do? Because I know you're a real creative person, too.
What I would like to do?
Yeah. That you haven't done for a while.
I like stargazing, stuff like that. I haven't really had a chance to go out and just sit into a peaceful area and just kind of look up, relax with somebody next to you, and just take in the moment.
So that's an artist date.
That's an artist date.
That's an artist date. And it would be interesting right now because in the next couple of days we are going to see the new moon. So it's interesting to go out and, do you have a camera? Are you a camera? Are you a
Yeah,
camera
we
person?
got a couple cameras.
You know, I've got a friend in Colorado that she goes out and she takes sunsets. And,
cool.
and she's always posting them on Sylvia Edwards. You might get a kick out of it. But she comes up with some amazing, she's got a camera. I don't know how she does it, but an amazing thing to do, you know. But look at that's in nature. See?
Right, yeah.
Now, my son, an artist date for him might be going to Sportsman's Warehouse.
Yeah.
Just to walk around like we go into Michael's. Just to walk around and look at the new lures and look at the, you know, whatever's going on there, the latest gun that came in, you know. And he loves to collect. He can lose hours looking at old military rifles because he's a history buff.
Oh, neat.
He's got a master's in history. So that's something for him. But with guys, you know, I've heard more guys say that they love, one of the best vacations is if they had an RV. And they had to tinker with something.
Well, yeah, that'd be totally cool. Get the family out, have some fun, you know, make something do what it's not supposed to do, and everybody go, woohoo.
Right. I know. Build some shelves.
Yeah.
Do something. Use power tools. Ooh.
Yeah, power tools. Yeah, more power. That's what that's all about.
Who doesn't need more power when it comes to that?
Yeah. Well, and the guys that are I know several guys that own Harleys. You know, they just to get on one and ride. Just to go out and ride.
That's
that
peaceful.
Would,
Yeah,
that would be an artist date. You know, it's usually got something to do with power.
Yeah.
You know,
My son, he plays the guitar. That's his. And then to do music, to go see music.
And I think the tendency is we think we have to get all of this stuff done before we can do that. So what this process is saying is make the time for it, even if it's just 2 hours.
Exactly. Actually, the artist date is anywhere between an hour or 2 hours a week. And who doesn't have an hour of TV that you can give up in order to nourish your inner artist?
Or Facebook nowadays.
Yeah, I know that too.
You know, I was looking at that the other day, and did you see that question that came across where it said, if you had the option that you had to pay for Facebook, would you do it? I said, only if I have to do it for my business. If I didn't have to, I mean, I love connecting. I've connected with some of my high school friends that I hadn't been able to connect to, and birthdays are great on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
You know,
Because it reminds you when you don't remember.
I know.
that's right. That's right. But you know, otherwise, some of the, so I'm going to say it's no holds barred radio. Some of the crap that comes across there,
Yeah,
and I'm on
it's
off
disturbing.
sugar anyway, you know. But some of the stuff that comes on there, and I see some things, and you check on Snopes, and you find out it's crap.
Yes.
But there's this thing, because it passes so fast, you know, to get out of that energy field of doing that and to go sit under the stars. What else, George? I'm curious.
That I do?
Yeah. What would you do that you haven't done for a while that would be you could lose time on besides trying to figure out the latest radio thing? You know.
Yeah, because that's one of the biggest things for me. I always sit back and just look at different things that I can do. Drawing. I haven't drawn in years. I haven't really had a chance to sit down. I do like characters and stuff. I'm not like like landscaping drawer or anything like that. But I like to sit down and just doodle and have fun and create things.
So that would be a good artist date.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you could sit and do
I haven't
that.
done that for years, though. Every time I sit down, it's just a quick doodle now if I'm doing something just to go on to the next thing.
Right. And I think there's a danger here when I get to a place, and probably for you too, because you are creative with the radio station, you created all of this, is it becomes a job. When it becomes a job, then it isn't fun anymore.
No. But that's because you need to have that piece that's always learning something new, that's always moving forward into something new.
Right. So here sits Lainey and George, and we're workaholics in certain areas. So if we came to you and we said, okay, what do I need to do to break this? What would be, and I just want to run kind of a little diagnostic here and say, what would you tell us to do? How would we start?
Well, one, I would tell you to do your morning pages.
Yeah, I know.
And then two, I'd say go on an artist date. But one of my favorite artist date ideas two favorite artist date ideas that my group came up with was daydreaming.
Oh.
I thought that was a really great artist date, and somebody came up with spa.
With what?
With going to the spa.
I thought I was daydreaming a couple times, but I think it was just seizures.
You notice a little twitching going on?
At least he doesn't do it during the show.
Okay, the spa, but there are
But
some
yes.
guys that love to go to spas. I know a couple of people that will go, guys that will love to get a pedicure because, for me, the toenail polish is incidental. It's all about the ankle rub,
But getting back to the diagnostic, if
Yeah.
you were a workaholic, it would have to start with that because those two pieces slow you down.
The
Morning pages and being intentional on an artist date. But then the other piece, too, it would be to make a list of all the things that you love and the things that make you relaxed and happy. because I think those pieces can begin to connect you into your center of yourself.
Yeah.
And that connection to the divine, because, you know, like I said earlier in the show, it's not so much about sitting around and going all the time. It is about doing the things that makes us relaxed and happy, and that's one of the places where you know you're centered in your soul and your spirit, is when you're in that space. And it doesn't necessarily have to be an artist date that are the things that make you relaxed and happy. Like, I really enjoy watching, I miss the old Disney kid cartoons. And we watched Kung Fu Panda with my daughter the other day. We popped a bowl of popcorn and sat on the couch. And that made me really relaxed and really happy.
Yeah, see, and it's I think what's more important than the big things, because you can say, well, I want to go to Hawaii. Well, now you got a lot of, as you say, pieces you got to get in place to make that happen. This is about what can I do in the next moment. In fact, Wayne Hilterbrand, he and I had a conversation one night about if you could do something in the next moment that would be fun, what would it be? And we both sat there and went, now that you mentioned that, you know. So what's that all about? You know, it's we've lost our connection. One thing we've lost our play or our playfulness.
Your playfulness.
Yeah.
But then we also, as adults, take life way too seriously.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah.
We take work too seriously and relationships too seriously and healing work. Oh my God, do we take healing work too seriously?
Healing work. Oh man, we can get into that. Yeah.
But sometimes you just have to laugh at your own insanity. And sometimes you just have to laugh
at your own mishaps.
At your own mishaps and your own.
I haven't told you about going to dinner in the buffet line yet, have I?
Oh, please tell me about the buffet line.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I don't know where I was, but I don't know what was going, but it was at Golden Corral.
Okay.
And those places get packed with people. I got a tray full of stuff, no sugar.
Yay.
You know, I'm just doing this thing, and I slipped on something, and the whole tray full of food went woo, and it went up in the air, and it's flying, food's flying everywhere. And the person I was with came up, had the decency to come up and ask for help, but then went back and sat down because they didn't want to be seen with me, you know. And there was this little boy standing there looking at all of this, and his mom came up and started chewing him out, and I had to step up and say, no, he didn't do it. I did, you know. But I still laugh about it.
Oh.
I started laughing about it right away because it was a cartoon.
Yes.
It's the kind of thing you'd see on the Three Stooges, you know. It was insane. I never saw it coming, you know, and you know. But it's the humor. Being able to see the humor in situations.
Absolutely. I have something similar on Mount Charleston with my son. So
You just did that the other day.
Yes, but I didn't tell you. Yes, but I stepped off the trail looking. It was a long story, but I stepped off the trail. My feet came out from under me. I slipped and fell right on my tush. Started laughing hysterically. Look over at my son, and I say, "Okay, well, since I'm halfway down this switchback, I'm just going the rest of the way." Took another step. I fall, and I look over at my son, and he decided to try and catch up with me, and he fell too.
And so you're both falling down the hill at Mount Charleston.
Down Mount Charleston, and we're just rolling laughing.
And it's that kind of laughter that I love. I love to laugh. I didn't realize how much I missed it, you know, but giving myself permission to laugh at that, you know, and it's the one where you almost can't breathe or the tears are rolling. One of my favorite memories of my grandmother was she was like 82 years old, and my house in Washington is right below my parents' house, and she would stay at my house because I had more room. So we're walking down. It's a holiday of some kind, and we're walking kind of down this little slope, and all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. Here's this little German grandmother, and she just kind of slipped, and my dad had put a stack of 3 tires there left. It's a farm, right? Mm-hmm. She's now slipped and her butt has fallen in these tires, and we're trying to get her out of this thing, and she is laughing so hard that, you know, she's wetting her pants, I'm wetting my pants, you know, we're just laughing, and it's as clear as a bell.
Absolutely.
And it just brings that spirit right up. So maybe remembering a time when you did laugh like that. Maybe there's nothing funny going on right now, but remember one of those and then write about it.
It's a shame, though, that those days seem to be so far and few between anymore.
Yeah.
It is amazing. I mean, you know, I'm 47 and I've seen a lot of things happen, but it just seems to me that over the years, it's gotten to the point where it's a lot harder for people to sit and laugh and enjoy themselves it is to worry about things. It's become so easy for people to worry and feel frustrated more than it is to sit back and laugh and forget it all.
Yeah. Well, and that's why the comedies are always, think of all the comedies that have come out in the last few years that are just, you know, and my favorite is Mel Brooks. Before that was Red Skelton. I mean, you know, I love to laugh, and it's great. And again, it's a shift in perspective. When I slipped in the buffet line, I could have just as easily sat there and crawled away and grabbed whoever I was with and said, I'm going home. Get me out of here. But it was more fun to sit there.
It was more fun to laugh about
Yeah.
it. It was more fun to laugh, but that connects you back to raises your vibration.
It raises laughter, raises your vibration.
Yes, but it connects you back to that childlike joy.
And I'm finding that the friends that I'm creating now, I'm finding that piece is more prevalent, you know. So, well, you're going to be teaching the Artist Way.
Yeah, well,
when
actually,
does that start? That's kind of how we ended up with it today.
Yeah, so next Thursday, July 23rd at 7 p.m. at Soul Sanctuary, we have an Artist Way group that is starting up, and we are actually going to break the rules just a little bit.
No, not you.
Yeah, just a little bit. What we decided to do is to take our time through the Artist Way and just do one of there's 12 chapters in the book, to just do one chapter a month. And so one day a month we're going to meet together, go over the exercises together, and do some deep inner work with our artist. And then another time during the month we're actually going to go on artist dates together around the valley, because we figured, because we have such a diverse interest, that it'll pull all of us in different directions that we wouldn't normally go. So we're going to create some community on our artist dates.
I think that sounds good, because I don't like to go to the same place twice if I can help it. I love learning, finding new things, you know. Yeah,
so,
I think that's cool.
And then it creates community, and I have a support of other artists.
So you have, so it's 2 Thursdays a month, is that what it is?
It's going to be 2 Thursday nights a month. The next one's July 23rd.
And what time does that?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. till?
About 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Okay, that's doable.
Yeah, that's doable. Hour and a half, 2 hours.
So tell them the address of Soul Sanctuary.
Yeah, Soul Sanctuary is at 1771 East Flamingo Road, Suite 104B. So we're on the southwest corner of Flamingo and Spencer in Las Vegas.
And they just had their grand opening last week, and that was a lot of fun.
That was great.
I got to see some people I hadn't seen in a long time.
That was a great time.
Yeah, this one woman that I don't know if you saw it, but there's this one woman, we had not seen each other in about a year, and she used to come to my healing circles, and we just looked at each other, and it was like that. It was like the lovers running to each other, and, you know. And I mean, it was great. It was great. I hadn't seen her in so long, and she's gotten married.
Oh,
you know, since I saw her last. So it was a great time.
That's
I really
good.
enjoyed
That's
that.
good.
So Soul Sanctuary, you giving them, and if people want to get a hold of you and ask more questions about the artist, so I'm going to hold this up again so people can see that.
So our phone number is 702-272-7872, and you can reach us on our website at www.soulsanctuarylv.org. And, you know, Soul Sanctuary is an interfaith spiritual center. So we've got a little Reiki center. We've got a John of God healing bed there now. And we do spiritual classes that help you connect to your divine.
Yeah.
So.
I'm going to be next week on the 22nd, Wednesday night. I'll be at Spirit Us Reiki Center. I'm going to be doing a 2-hour healing center. Are you coming to that? I think
I'm on there. Yeah.
It's about walking with your ancestors.
Yay.
It's about connecting. Who are these people that are talking to me? And is there an ancestor that can help me that I haven't connected with before? Yeah. So we're going to do that. And then on the 31st, it's going to be a blue moon ceremony.
Can we do that one too?
Yeah, I figured as much. Yeah. So that's going to be, and I suggest you put your name down. We are limited to a degree at Spirit Us. We've had as many as 38 people there, and it starts getting a little crowded, but we don't like turning anybody away.
No,
and it's both, that one is there any charge for the Artist Way workshop?
Just love offering. We
love
just
offering,
take
yeah.
off love offering.
And that's what's happening with me. The other thing I'm working on, and I want to put it out now so people can start looking at it, a friend of mine from Washington, Kathy Smith, Kat Marie Smith. She is a Sacred Beauty mentor.
Beautiful.
And she and I are doing, I think you put your name on.
Put my name on that one too.
Wow. 2-day workshop at the last weekend of September, which will be a lunar eclipse. So we're going to actually, as part of that group, we're going to do a lunar full moon ceremony, lunar eclipse full moon ceremony at the end of the day. And it's interesting because the way it's coming together. You're going to get to do a past life regression. You're going to get to do a soul progression. People are going to get to connect to their inner cat power, feline power. For women only, guys. Sorry.
Yay.
Yeah, you'll have to go to the one, the masculine,
sacred masculine. We have sacred masculine coming up August 6th at Soul Sanctuary.
And with that, my name is Lady Risto, and you can reach me at 702-308-8464. We're going to be back next week, and again, I don't know what we're doing next week, but Spirit always comes up with something that's fun, you know? Yeah. So have a great week out there, and if there's something, if you find yourself stressed and you'd like to have a little time for yourself, think about the Artist's Way. Think about writing down 3 pages of whatever and see how you feel afterwards. If you just do that one piece, you're going to be better for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Here I am, standing at the